This is a story of 4 friends, 2 dogs, some ice-covered ponds, and a backcountry stream. It's early April, and after a blustery, late winter surge, winter doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. The snow is deep and getting deeper. It appears the canoes won't be coming off the truck anytime soon. The ponds are still frozen solid. I tell myself to be patient. We just have to wait a little while longer. And then, 2 weeks later, our patience paid off. We were blessed with an unseasonably warm stretch of 80-degree days. And just like that, the snow was gone and the ice was out. The sunshine, warm temps, and open water were calling us. It's a combination Barb and I can't pass up. It was time for our first Adirondack paddle of the season. Good friends Joe and Wendy would be joining us. Henry and Eddie would be tagging along too. We planned on a lazy day tooling around Hoel Pond. The water is still deadly cold with temps in the 30s. We knew we'd have to be careful. Well, apparently Joe didn't get the memo. Through the infamous Hoel Pond culvert and into Turtle Pond he goes. It looks like our day is going to be a lot more exciting than expected. Joe would be the first to tell you taking our lightweight canoes through the culvert was a bad idea. A gel coat killer, as he'd say. Joe would know. He built each of our boats. I suppose if you build them, you can fix them. The rest of us would carry our canoes up and over the old rail bed. On Turtle Pond, ice was still hanging on in spots, but nothing that would alter our course. The warm sun and light winds made the decision to paddle deeper into the Saint Regis canoe wilderness an easy one. The conditions were perfect. As we passed through the little stream connecting Turtle and Slang Ponds, we heard a familiar sound. The Adirondack loon has returned. A welcome sign of paddling adventures to come. Around the bend, we could see the Long Pond canoe carry just ahead. Carefully making our way through the broken ice, we couldn't wait to lay our eyes on Long Pond, one of our favorites. The carried along is one of the nicest in the Adirondacks. The trail is flat, and the woods are a beautiful mix of hardwoods, birch and hemlock. At only 250 yards long, the carry is a joy and gave us the perfect amount of time to stretch our legs. The tiny legs, too. We reached Long Pond in just a few short minutes. A thin layer of broken ice and chunky slush covered a wide swath of the water in front of us. But Long Pond was as beautiful as ever, maybe even more so. We saw several ways we could navigate our way around the ice. As it turned out, paddling through it was a lot more fun. There was something very satisfying about the granular sound of the canoe's bow splitting the ice, and the thud of each paddle stroke digging in. We couldn't get over how fun it was. The remaining shards of candle ice made it feel as if we were floating in a sea of diamonds. So we spent several minutes soaking in the sight of the glistening pond. After clearing the ice field, we decided to try a return route that may be possible in this high water. It could be a great idea or a really bad one. We banked on it being a great one. We'd head north towards the fish pond carry and try to make our way up the normally impassable feeder stream connecting Long and Slang Ponds. As we'd hoped and suspected, the stream was swollen. It looked doable, so we decided to go for it. Weaving our way over logs, between rocks, through dense thicket and cattails, we slowly made our way upstream. The current was surprisingly swift, and finding the deepest, widest channels proved challenging. But every one of us had a smile on our face the entire time. It was one obstacle after another, but the smell of the forest, fresh pine and damp earth, and the sound of the babbling brook made this backwater well worth the effort. Fighting the upstream current was getting harder and harder around every bend as downed trees choked the stream, making it impossible to gain momentum. We hopped in and out of our boats when too shallow and shimmied our way over submerged logs when needed. We scrambled through the twisting brook the best we could, whatever it took to make progress. Inevitably, a small set of shallow rapids did us in. It was time to carry the canoes. Thankfully, the woods were mostly open, with patches of rotting snow over rolling terrain. Good thing I wore my all-terrain Crocs. Our lightweight canoes were built for adventures like this. With weights ranging between 20 and 25 pounds, bushwhacking was made easy. Well, easier anyway. After a short while, and a lot of zigging and zagging, perhaps an F-bomb or two from yours truly, we made it back to Slang Pond. I've been wanting to explore this small stream for quite some time, and it didn't disappoint. One by one, we loaded up. We were excited to get back in our boats.
Good job. Yeehaw. That was fun.
From the water, this jumbled mess doesn't look like much. But now I know that a whole lot of fun can be had back in there when the conditions are right. At this point, we had worked up big appetites, and our conversation turned to the cookout we had planned for that evening, featuring chicken thighs washed down with icy cold beer. With food in mind, we quickly made our way across Slang Pond and paddled our way back through the small connector stream into Turtle. The paddling conditions were still perfect, and despite our hunger, we didn't want our day on the water to end. But the paddling season has just begun. There will be many more adventures in the coming days. Finally, we were back at the Hoel Pond culvert, the spot where Joe decided today wouldn't be an ordinary day. Up and over we went. The home stretch across Hoel Pond was a nice, easy way to end the day. Now it was time to eat, have a few beers, and reminisce while watching the sun set over our favorite place to be.